We are live. Falcon fans, Falcon fans, Falcon fans. Welcome to the inaugural, the one and only episode one of the ATL Friday Night Atlanta Falcons Sports Talk with your host, T. Will, and my co host, Miss Lisa Shepard. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot to talk about tonight, but first, we got to let you hear some music. So, here we go. Oh,
Woo! That got me crunk.
they got you ready, huh? They got you ready.
Cut out the beat maker.
Hey man, y'all didn't see Lisa back here. Lisa was jamming. As a matter of fact, Lisa, I didn't know you were a dancer. We were at the Falcons game at the what's that tailgate party you guys had?
Dirty Bird's Nest.
Where everybody was in all white and I was in black. Thank you, Lisa.
Dirty Bird's Nest.
Yeah, Dirty Bird's Nest. So Lisa tried to get me to get on the circle
The 360.
yeah, where you can dance. And first of all,
But you from the A, sir. I'm not understanding. I
I didn't
don't.
have any confidence, Lisa. I'm there. I got all black. You know what I mean? I'm the only one in all black.
You were not the only one. There were other people there that were not in all white.
I wasn't feeling it, but I tell you what, the next time I go back, I'm gonna be ready, and we're gonna get on there. So, welcome everybody. Hello, welcome to the show. This is our first episode of many. We are glad to be with you. This is Atlanta Falcon Friday night. I'm sorry, ATL Friday night Atlanta Falcon Sport Talk. Boy, that's a lot. That's a tongue twister. Anyway, Lisa, this is the point in the show typically where we will have our special guest, if they're on, to introduce themselves. But as you are my very illustrious co-host, I want you to have your own segment and just tell the fans about you. Tell them how you became a Falcon fan. Tell them what you do now. And yeah, I'm just going to let you get to it. So with that being said, Lisa, go right ahead.
All righty. Well, I'll try not to be too long-winded, but born and raised in the A. Parents were Falcons fans, so I was a Falcons fan growing up. It was a family thing. I can say that when I was a teenager, when other kids were working at like Six Flags or at the movies, I was working at the Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. So I got to see all the Falcons and Braves home games. So I don't know. It's just been, I actually asked my brother, how long had I been a football fan? And he was like, Lisa, you've been watching football since you were 3. You know what I mean? Like he said, I will have you on my lap and we will watch football. I should let y'all know, my father was a high school football player, got a scholarship to Morris Brown on the football team. So that's how he made his way to Atlanta. So football was, in his blood. He went on to be a football coach in Atlanta public school system. So it's really, I don't know my life without football, and that's largely due to my father. So then as an adult, I just maintained that fandom. been a season ticket holder now. I think I'm on maybe year 12, 13, something like that. So it's been a minute. And in addition to being a fan, I also write for a Falcons fan blog called Blogging Dirty. So I've been doing that now about a year and a half, and I really enjoy that because I enjoy writing. It gives me an opportunity to tell stories, and I personally focus on the fan experience and whatever that may look like. Recent stories include profiling or highlighting the first international fan of the year, who is Alex Santos, who is a fan from Germany. So he was in Atlanta last year. He will be coming back for some games here this season. I've met some really cool Canadian fans that I recently featured. And it's just cool to just be able to meet fans from not only, Georgia, but from all over the United States, and then expanding that to international fans. So this thing runs deep. Irrespective of the performance of the team, I'm always riding. I'm not going to waver. If the team is having a down year or two or six, I'm still here. And no matter what, is Dirty Birds all day for me.
Dirty Birds all day.
All day.
Dirty Birds all day. So, Lisa's being modest. Let me tell you something. I see Lisa on the scene. I see Lisa in Miami. I see Lisa in New Orleans. I see Lisa all over.
Yeah.
And, Lisa is the kind of person that I would say she tries to do the right thing. So, I'm so excited about the show tonight, guys. We have a fan that Lisa actually helped to meet his idol, which is Bijan Robinson. Now, guys, I don't know if you guys had a favorite player growing up. Now, me, growing up, it was why I was a kid in the 70s. Okay, so some of y'all ain't gonna know these people, but for me, it was Steve Bartkowski and Wallace Francis, Alfred Jenkins, and William Andrews. If I could have met Wallace Francis or Steve Bartkowski, oh my God, Lisa. You know what I mean? So Lisa kind of undersells what she does. I think what you do is great. I think being able to facilitate the meeting of somebody's hero, it's near and dear to my heart. I've been a Falcon fan all my life. I'm so excited about it. And I'm just ready for these fans to just kind of come into your world and see what that is. She's an excellent, I call her a journalist. She calls herself a writer. We kind of have a back and forth about it, but she's a journalist to me. So whatever, Lisa. And I would say she's an unofficial ambassador. But the point is, we are lucky to have her, and I cannot wait to hear some of these stories that she has to tell because it's going to be great. So I'm excited about that, and we can move on because.
Well, real quick, I will add that part of the reason. Let me kind of get my thoughts together. So, Blogging Dirty, there are about 7 or 8 writers, and we get to write about what we want. A lot of writers kind of take the stance of a sports journalist in terms of giving you stats and talking about draft picks and all of that. I kind of decided for myself, I wanted to focus on the fan experience, and that's largely due. I just kind of feel like in the NFL scheme of things, Falcons fans get a bad rap in terms of us not being real fans, not being diehard fans. It's just not the case. And so that is why I was like, there are some stories to be told. And I mean, I'm telling you, there's some stories that amaze me. And it's not even about being an international fan, although I think the international fans, because I'm always like, so how did you become a Falcons fan? You got 32 options. So how did it happen? And it's always interesting because everybody has, a different story. Yep. And also I can say that what I've heard consistently, hold on, I'm trying to get back into my computer. What I've heard consistently is it was either Michael Vick, Deion Sanders, or something as simple as someone liking our team colors. Yeah. So, but beyond how they, became a Falcons fan, they've stayed, and I'm talking some of these fans have been fans. I'm talking international fans or people not from Georgia.
Mhm.
They've been fans for decades. So
Yeah.
it wasn't just a situation where they just hopped on the bandwagon 2, 3, 4 years ago. No, these people have been through the ups and downs that we've all experienced, and they've remained true. They throw up the A's just like anybody born and raised in the A will do. So those are the stories I like to tell. I get interested in the why you a fan and how did it happen, and especially if you're not from Georgia, you're traveling, to come to Atlanta. I actually met a couple. They live in Houston, and so any game they attend, unless we're playing the Texans, is going to be a road game. But every season they pick one game in Atlanta to come to, and then they pick another road game to go to. So these are people that are wanting to support the team in various ways. And so those are the stories that I want to tell.
Yeah, and being I guess originating in Louisiana and supporting the Falcons, they probably can fight too. I mean, I don't want to speculate, but gotta have some
I
things.
wasn't going to give that part away yet, Terry.
All right. So let's get to some chat, folks. Carlo Wiggins says, "What's up with it, family? What's
What
up,
up?
Carlo?" Link's mom says, "Hello, Terry and Lisa." Hello, Link's mom. Larry A. Sams Jr. says, "Hey, you all." Uh, Larry, we're in the South. It's hey, y'all. No, Tiff Raines, who interestingly enough will be joining this podcast.
Hi, Tiff.
Hi, Tiff. She will be with us next week, as will Jabri Harper. So we have a panel of 4, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. She says, "Dirty Birds all day." That's right, Tiff. Mateo says, "Beat those Eagles, rise up."
Oh, yes.
That's right. Larry Sams Jr. says, "Deion Sanders, Jamal Anderson, Andre Rison."
Yep.
Hey, man, can't go wrong with either one of those. I
And
love.
real quick, let me hop in, Larry. 2 of those players you named were at the Dirty Bird's Nest
They were.
tailgate this past Sunday. That was Jamal and Big Play Ray.
Yeah.
So, and in fact, the couple that I was talking about that's from Houston that came to Atlanta for the game on Sunday, the husband was wearing a Ray Buchanan jersey. And the thing is, at the Dirty Bird's Nest tailgate, they never tell us which former Falcon players are going to be there, so it's always a surprise. Yeah, and so he was super hyped that he got to meet Ray. Ray signed his jersey, took pictures, the whole 9. His day was made before he even walked into the Benz to watch the game because he got to meet the Big Play Ray.
Yeah, matter of fact, I think we have a picture of one Lisa Shepard with Big Play Ray and Jam. I think. Wait a minute. I'm hearing. Let me hold on. Let me check in the back, guys. Do you have that picture? Yeah, you do. You sure? Okay. All right. I think we have the picture, and there we go. I believe that is our Lisa Shepard with Jamal Anderson and Big Play Ray.
And to be honest, I've met them before, so it was cool for me. I mean, I always love that they are fun. They are very fan friendly. Jam loves to dance. Like, he will bust out a Dirty Bird in a minute. Like, you don't even have to ask; it's gonna come. And Ray is cool. Like, we got some cool players, man.
I love it. All right, so back to it. Give me 1 sec. Let me stop this screen and let's get back to it. So that's Lisa. You guys know me. I'm a podcaster from One Time for the Fan originally. I then created my own For My ATL Sports 1. I am a lifelong Falcons fan. And like I said, you guys know me. I'm not going to spend much time on me. So without further ado, Lisa, let's get into it. Week 1 recap. You saw the game. I saw the game. Hell, we were at the stadium together. Whew. I don't know. That was kind of tough to watch, Lisa.
Yeah.
Give me your impression. Let's start with the positives. So give me your impression of our defensive effort. And just tell me what you thought about it. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I think, we have been wanting our defense to, I think in previous years, we relied so much on the offense, and we kind of expected the offense to score enough to where the defense was bend but don't break.
Right.
Now, I think with these new look Falcons on defense and the pieces that we've acquired, the expectation is this defense, is supposed to ball and not be a liability, right? Because we know in the past it's been a liability. And so by them not giving up any touchdowns, that was impressive. And I don't know if you listened to Jesse Bates's press conference today. Of course, he was asked about, the defense not giving up any touchdowns, and basically I liked what he said. He was just like, yeah, we didn't give up any touchdowns, but we shouldn't have given up as many field goals as we did. So even though as fans we're saying, okay, no touchdowns, even he was saying there's some things defensively they could have done, but nonetheless they still held the opponents to 18 points. And in the NFL, you would think that would have been enough, but unfortunately, our offense just couldn't quite get it together. But keeping it positive, I'm very pleased with the defense. And, and again, first game that they're playing together, and just hoping that they can improve going into Philly week 2.
Yeah, definitely. Our defense was good. I can't take anything away from them. A couple of those field goals he hit, I mean, they were like 57.
Yeah, right. And I mean, come on. Like, he was just an
Yeah.
exceptional keeper. So,
You know what I mean? We're not talking like you got down to the 20. Dude had some serious leg, right? So that's number one. Number two, we stopped them on fourth down twice, not once, but twice. And they went for it twice. So I really, I think our defense was great. We lost the time of possession battle. I think they had the ball for 35 minutes. We had it for 20, 24, 23, but whatever. You have a defense out there for 35 to 40 minutes. Guys are going to start to tire. I thought their effort was excellent.
He alluded to that too. He alluded to, I mean, again, he was very diplomatic in how he chose his words, but he did basically say, when it's a 3 and out on the offense, the defense has barely had a chance to catch their breath, and then they're right back on the field. So, I mean, I'm paraphrasing. Obviously, he was much more polite about how he said his, but that was the sentiment. Like, he's like, yeah, that's a tough I think he called it a transition when it's like, 3 and out. I mean, honestly, a 3 and out can literally be under a minute. You know what I mean? It's not. So, you've done your part to stop the opposing offense, and then you're right back around. I mean, that continues to happen. Fatigue is going to set in, but they still held strong. So,
yeah, they did. I thought it was a great job by the defense. As far as the offense is concerned, a lot to be desired. There's a lot to get into there, and we will get into that later. As for now, our special guest has arrived. This is Cedric. Hey, Cedric. I'm going to add you to the show now. Welcome. And here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Cedric Bissonnette.
Hello.
Hello, Cedric. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. How about you?
We are doing great. We are pleased to have you. So, without further ado, I'm going to let Lisa kind of get into this. But Cedric, you traveled all the way from Canada to Atlanta to meet your hero, Bijan Robinson. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
It was amazing.
I'm hearing that. So, Lisa, why don't you kind of tell us the story and tell us a little more about it?
Okay. You want to just kind of have us on the screen?
Absolutely. Let me go ahead and remove that. And there we go.
Okay, great. Hey, Cedric.
Hello, Lisa.
Okay, so we're going to kind of start from the beginning.
Excellent.
Tell us a little bit about how you became a Falcons fan. You're from Quebec. So talk a little bit about that and when you became a Falcons fan.
Excellent. So back in college, I was working part-time at one of Home Depot's competitor in Canada. Before they opened a new store, they did some scouting. After work, they approached me. We want you to join our team. So I jumped and I went with Home Depot. And the way they treat their employees, it actually reflects, Mr. Blank. And there was an interview in the preseason game with Mr. Blank, and a former player actually said, I played for multiple teams, and Mr. Blank, you are like a top best owner in the NFL. So it was the same thing with Home Depot. We were treated so well, and when in early 2000, Mr. Blank bought the Falcons, that's when it caught my attention. I was already watching football, but a little bit because here in Canada is mostly hockey. But I went to see a few NFL games in Buffalo, which is not too far from us. It's 5 hours of driving. But when Michael Vick started playing with the Falcons, he caught my eyes and attention. After that, there was Julio Jones who joined, Matt Ryan. So I became a Falcons fan. When I can say Michael Vick joined the Falcons.
Okay. So it's been a while, and you've hung
Yes.
in there with us as a Falcons fan. Alrighty, so now tell me, like, what made you decide to come to Atlanta this year? Because this was your first visit to Atlanta and your first visit to watch the team play at home, correct?
Yes, exactly. So I actually wanted to go to Atlanta. It's been many years, but opportunity, timing, and it's a little bit, well, it's pretty far from where I live.
Sure.
So it involves lots of money.
Yeah.
But, when season tickets got released, I look online the first day, and I saw tickets available. I said, that's it. We have to go. And I asked my girlfriend Jose, would you like to join me? And she said, yes, okay, why not? I've never attended an NFL game. So bought the tickets and booked the hotel, started looking on Google what to do, where to go in Atlanta. So
Okay. So can you tell us, did your expectations of the trip in reality were they met, or just
oh,
kind of talk? Okay, I'll let you talk.
you know my story because we met you on Friday when we arrived. We were at the kickoff party. Thanks to you, Lisa, to introducing me to a few person, part of the Atlanta Falcons, fans, and the team also. But we booked the trip. We just wanted to go there, have fun, watch the game. But this was above and beyond. I can't describe enough what we went through this weekend, like the past weekend with you and our new friends that we've made in Atlanta. Was
And just
amazing.
letting you know, you're stuck with us.
Yeah,
Your part, like, it's
I'll
a
be
big
back.
town.
I'll be back next year, that's for sure. And I asked Jose on our way back to Canada in the flight. I said, you know, how was it? Were you expecting that much of emotions and feelings? He said, oh my God, it was 10 times more, 100 times more than what she was expecting. So I asked her, would you like to join me next year? And she said, I do.
Oh
All
wow.
right. So,
Okay.
I mean, let's get into, when I met you, you were already rocking a Bijan jersey. You had it on.
There.
Yeah, you're rocking a Bijan baseball jersey now. So tell us about what it was like when you got to meet him and have him sign your jersey, and his was that his rookie card?
Yes, actually, I have it right here. So there's only 5 prints in the entire world of this card, and
Wow.
I have the number 1 out of 5. So
Amazing.
when we went to the store on Friday before the kickoff to buy some merchandise and souvenirs, we spoke, we talked to each others, and I asked, "Do you know which players will be there tonight?" So you said yes, B. John Robinson, Young Wei Koo, and a few other players. So you brought me, I believe, to what's her name again? It's Chelsea. And once we went to see Chelsea Phillips Tafoya, I saw Vinny the Falconator with his wife, Susanna.
Mhm.
So we were able. Bichan was in his security truck waiting before he was asked to come on stage, and someone knew where he was, said, "Come with me." So, and I had my sign, number 7,
Right.
Robinson.
Yeah.
I'm from Canada, first time Atlanta game. Would you sign my card? So he pulled his window and said, "Yeah, come here." It was really kind. What I like about Bijan, he's always smiling, and his smile
Yeah.
propagates a lot of positiveness.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's very
And
true.
I told you, if you were in a position to meet Bijan, he absolutely would sign your things. And the reason why I knew that was because I've seen him interact with fans before. And most recently, because I went down to Miami for our preseason game. And, after practice and everything, because they had two joint practices, Bijan was out there the longest.
wow.
And in fact, the Dolphins fans took over. It's like we were like, Bijan, got Falcons fans here. But I'm telling you, all those fans want to meet Bijan, screaming his name. He was signing everything. And so I just knew that he was that kind of player. And I definitely knew you were rocking his jersey. If you were in a space to where you could meet him and he could see you, he absolutely was going to sign your stuff.
Yeah,
And I'm glad, because what happened was, I ended up, leaving them, and then he texted me. It wasn't even an hour later. He's texted me pictures with Bijan, and I was like, "What? Like, it happened?" And how many hours after you had landed in Atlanta did that happen? It was what, a matter of 3 or 4 hours from the time you got here to the time you meet Bijan. It was,
something like that. Yeah, really, really fast. I was so lucky.
yeah, that was dope. Can we show the pictures, Terry,
Oh
of him?
yes, for sure.
And yes, we can. Give me one sec. Let's get to the pictures. All right. So
Yay!
that's Cedric and Bijan at the truck. Now, Cedric, I got to know at that moment, right? When you meet your hero, because I got to be honest. I met Jamal Anderson in the early 2000s, and I was a grown man, but I had permagrit. I couldn't stop smiling for like 20 minutes. I called my wife on the phone, a grown man. Hey, Kim, hey, I met Jamal Anderson. Oh my God. And she's like, yeah, can you just go by the store and pick up? I'm like, no, honey, I met Jamal Anderson. So I know, like, I was in this permanent state of euphoria for about at least a day.
Oh, I
What
still can't
was
believe
that like
it.
for you?
I
Say,
still can't believe it. And
yeah,
when I went to give Bijan my card so he could sign it, I was shaking so much. Even though I'm 45 years old, but
right,
I told him I feel like an 8-year-old kid who just
right,
receiving a new bicycle or a new gift.
right. That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
That's why we wanted to have you come on the show, because let me tell you something. That's what life is about. You know what I mean? We
yeah,
go through this thing day by day, but if you get a chance to meet somebody that you really admire, especially when they're nice, right? Because Bijan is nice. I've never, because there's some folks in whatever industry,
yes,
call it what you want. They don't. I'm not going to say they're not nice, but it's business as usual. Bijan is completely genuine, and he takes his time and really wants the fan to walk away having a good feeling. That resonates off him. So, number one, you have a good choice in hero, sir. Let me give you your props for that. This is you and your lovely Josie, and you guys got a chance to meet Freddie the Falcon. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
yeah. Well, we were hanging just in front of the fence, first row, to make sure that if Bijan was going to walk, he was going to see us. And I had the sign, and Freddie arrived, and he started reading at the sign, and he could not believe it. So he came to see us, and we took a selfie. It was really nice.
It's great. It's great. Tell you what, that Freddie gets around, man. And if you don't know this, Cedric, Freddie loves heights. He loves to jump
Yes.
heights and whatever, man. Couldn't be me. So am I to understand this is your Falcon cave and these are your jerseys, right? I'm
Yeah.
guessing they're all Bijan, or do you have any different
No,
players?
actually, I have them behind me. So there's Drake London. I have Bijan and Kirk Cousins, and I bought this one in Atlanta, the baseball Bijan Robinson jersey that he actually signed on the number 7. And this was in our hotel in Atlanta, so it was kind of our closet. So when we were walking into our room, we were able to see this.
If
Nice.
figure out how to display it, we might be okay. I am so sorry. I'm trying to
It,
spotlight you, and I haven't been able to do it. So
it's all
okay,
good.
that is great. That
So
is
real quick, in Canada, do you guys tailgate?
Yes, like I watch football every Sunday, as many games as possible. Falcons are not broadcasted here in Canada, and so I have the zone, which allows me to see the games. But for sure, every year for the Super Bowl party, we are like 20, 25, sometimes 30 gathering together. And we have pulled pork, brisket, ribs, chicken wings. Uh, we even brew our own beers. We are three friends, so we normally have like 3, 4, 5 kegs of beers at the Super Bowl party.
Love it.
And when I show up, even
all
though
right.
it doesn't matter which team is playing, I show up with my Falcons jersey.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
me too.
You-
So talk about your experience, hanging out with the Dirty Bird's Nest on Sunday at the tailgate. Because I know that were able to take some pictures and you met Ardelia. I call her the Queen of the Nest.
Yes.
And then you also participated in the march that we do into the bend. So what was that like for you?
Football, for me, it's like a big family. You saw, and there was a lot of Steelers fans there at the stadium, but we were talking with everyone. But in the Dirty Bird's Nest, we're outsiders that show up in Atlanta, but we felt like family members. Um, the experience was it's hard to describe because you have to live the experience. Uh, when we started marching to the stadium with the marching band and all the Dirty Birds family members, the nest, I had goosebumps. Jose's eyes had tears. She could not believe it. She was speechless. Then,
Oh,
when we entered into the Mercedes-Benz Stadium and fans were looking at us, I remember there was lots of Steelers fans that were impressed, which was really nice to see their face taking pictures of us. And well, us is the Dirty Bird's Nest. Everyone, the marching band. I have a video of this, like 2 minute 30 seconds. It's not a good video because we were walking. I was holding the banner with Vinny.
Oh,
We were front row, but the sound. Thank you for allowing me and Jose to live this experience.
and the thing was when I met y'all, because remember, I was trying to explain what the Dirty Bird's Nest was and that we have this tailgate and we do a march. And I just felt like I was talking too much. And I feel like I ended up saying, you just got to trust me. You got to come. Like, you just got to trust me on this one. You'll really enjoy yourself.
Yeah, and I remember exactly that moment in the store when you said, I'm trying to explain you how it will be. It's hard because you have never lived the experience. Now I understand.
And
I have goosebumps right now just thinking about the moment. Yeah.
And I should let the viewers know that the Dirty Bird's Nest tailgate is open to all Falcons fans, period. So if you are a Falcons fan and you're at any of the games this season, come through. It's if you want to know where it is, I'll tell you. It's not a secret. They want Falcons fans to come, and they always have former players to come through. And again, they never tell us who was going to be. But like I said, it was Jamal Anderson and Ray Buchanan. Or you know what I'm saying? So I always look forward to that, to see who's the Falcon former player is going to be. But the tailgate is open, it's free. No opposing fans are allowed. They will get stopped by security. It is for Falcons fans only. So, and then, if you want to, what he's talking about is we march from the tailgate into gate 1, and it's always Freddie Falcons cheerleaders and the drum line leading the march. So that's what and I'm telling you, walking, and he's right. Like, people will part ways when they see this big section of Falcons fans chanting, flags, waving. It's a whole thing. So, and for you Falcons fans who've never experienced that, that's a big
Oh,
deal to you all as well. So
they need Falcons fan needs to attend that once.
at
For
least
us, every year, like we want to make this a yearly happening for me and Jose because our weekend was the best trip of our lives. We try to travel 2 3 times a year and enjoy life as much as possible. We went to Cuba, Dominican Republic. We went to Mexico. This is the number one for both of us. Best trip we've done so far.
man, that's a woo. Well, I'm happy to have had a small part in your, enjoyment. And the fact that the game result didn't take away from your experience and everything that you did while you were in Atlanta. So real quick, besides the football related activities you did, what else did you do in the city that you could tell us about?
Well, we went to see the Atlanta Braves on
Oh,
Saturday. They were playing by pure coincidence. When I bought the Falcons tickets,
The Blue
I
Jays.
said, "Well, we're going to Atlanta.
Toronto
The
Blue
Braves
Jays.
are probably playing." When I looked, they were playing against the Blue Jays, which is the only Canadian team that we have.
Right.
So we were lucky. We went there on Saturday. Had an amazing night, beautiful stadium, nice game. But we had our Atlanta Braves baseball cap, and Jose bought a T-shirt. So, you know, and we went. We had a walk actually at the Olympic Park, really
Oh
beautiful,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
and we tried to walk as much as possible in the city. The buildings, the architecture is beautiful. I have to tell you, I'm close to Montreal, and in Canada, people always say, Montreal is the city, but Atlanta, 10 times better than Montreal. You guys rock. This city is beautiful, really, really clean. Oh my God, the streets were really clean and people respectful, friendly. Like we were welcomed, by everyone with open arms and big hearts.
I love it. It's
Yeah.
great to hear.
We
It's
are
great.
we are glad to hear that your experience here in the ATL, as we call it, was a good one, and we'd love for you to stick around because we have some Falcons business to get into. And with that being said, Lisa, and actually Cedric, we're gonna let you behind the gate, and we're gonna let you participate. So, Cedric, the Falcons are playing the Eagles this week, and you watched the game last week. I'm sure that was not the highlight, the game itself being the end result. We've got some things that we have to do to kind of clean this up going forward. Um, we need to cut down on the penalties. That's number one. We cannot have any
Mhm.
turnovers from our offense, and the defense needs at least 2 turnovers. Okay. Cedric, can you think of anything else that our defense needs to do or that our Falcons team needs to do to make sure that we can go into Philadelphia and get back a win? Just what are your thoughts on that, on the improvement needed for week 2?
Well, what you just described actually reflects, what needs to be changed from the first game. The turnovers and the defense played well.
They
We
did.
did not allow any touchdown, field goals. That the kicker of the Steelers was, really good that game. He had 6 field goals, but I'm not a quarterback. Maybe like the ball needs to be thrown a little bit faster. I think maybe Cousin was holding to the ball a little bit too long. But I'm not an NFL player. I've never played, so
Your input is welcome. That's fine. Lisa, can kind of talk through what do you think we need to do, or what do you think we need to improve upon week 2 against the Eagles?
Well, again, I'm kind of piggying back off of Jesse Bates' presser earlier today. He said that he would like some defensive turnovers to help out the offense. So, but again, I'm not. I mean, that our defense kept us, in the game, and again, not allowing any, TDs helped to not let the score get way out of hand, where we could still, have, some be competitive. So I think, and I listened to Zach Robinson's presser as well. His was interesting. He definitely, there were a lot of questions people had about, the play calling and, because they had talked about, pass action, and we didn't really see too much of any of the things that we were promised this offense would be. So
we didn't see any play action. Well, yeah, we didn't. I don't think we did. I know there was one play that he had under center, which we'll get into in a hot topic, because that is very much a point that I want to bring up later. But you're right. I think it was only one play under center, and I don't know that we did play action. I don't know. But go ahead, Lisa. I didn't mean to interrupt.
And yeah, no, it's fine. He's aware of what needs to be cleaned up. But you know how these press conferences are. They're not going to really, they're not really trying to put anybody under the bus, including themselves, because he was just like, you know how they go. It all starts on me, definitely coach speak, or, it was just one of those scenes where the reporters were saying, well, why didn't you do this? And was it related to Kirk Cousins' health? And of course, he's not trying to give anything away. So did you watch the press conferences today? Did you get the chance to watch them? Yeah. So it was kind of like, they talk, but they don't really say anything because they're not trying to give too much away. They're trying to, it was like, it's all on me, the kind of thing. It's like, but all I know is you got to show up. You have to perform better on Monday night. Point blank, period. I mean, because what we witnessed on Sunday, I think taking an L is one thing, but how you take it, because we were like, where is this offense? Where's the offense? And it just wasn't there for us Sunday.
Yeah. So Pittsburgh has a really good defense. That's number one. But what was concerning is that, first half it was 10-9.
Yep.
I don't have an issue with the first half. We did not adjust in the second half. So number one, I'd like to see more of Tyler Algier. And no disrespect, Cedric. I love me some Bijan. But
I agree.
We need to alternate. We need to see some of Tyler Algier. I like the packages with them both in the backfield, but we need to see a little more. We need a little more thunder behind the lightning, right? Or whatever. I don't know which is heavier, but we need to see more of that. This Eagles team has very good offensive tackles. Very good offensive tackles. So we are going to have to, from a defensive perspective, we're going to have to stack heavy in the middle. We're going to need to see creative blitzes. We might need to do some stunts. The pressure is going to have to come up the middle, because it's going to be difficult to get there if you're just rushing 4. And a lot of times in that game, we rushed 4. And we got there, don't get me wrong. But this Eagles team is not the Steelers. They score points. We need to get them off the field. So that's one other thing. And we need to do a better job of protecting Kirk. Now, what that entails, I don't know. You guys saw the game. You guys saw that guy named TJ Watt. I call him Mama, there goes that man again, because that dude is bad news. We couldn't stop him. We could not stop him. So I don't know if we want to threaten to run Kirk on a waggle, which means he's going to scramble to the outside, throw the ball. I don't know if he can do that with his ankle. I don't know if you want to put him under center. I don't know if you want to run some plays the opposite side, because the Eagles have a pretty good defensive rusher too. And we have to do some things to combat that, right? We got to do that. And the last thing is we need to score at least 25 points. We need to hold them to 20, which means you're probably going to have a good running game. If you can run the ball, which is why I say alternate, you can keep that Eagles offense off the field. That's the best way to defend them. Keep them off the field, right? So those are my thoughts. Next, we're going to get into some hot topics. So, Lisa, you alluded to this. Now, let me tell you something. My brother, Eric Parker, and those of our fans out there, fans of the chat, most of you guys know Eric. Very funny gentleman. If you've ever had a chance to sit down and have a beer with him, very creative in regards to a meme. And I would not advise you to run afoul of Mr. Eric Parker, because he's gonna get you. But with that being said, he called me last night, and we must have looked at that video with Kirk scrambling at practice, we must have looked at that thing 20 or 30 times. I mean, I personally felt like I'm watching the Zapruder film from the movie JFK, you know, back and to the left, watching it over and over again. And it looks like it looks like he can't throw off that back foot, right?
Mhm.
Now, I don't know that this is true, but if this is the case, that really impacts what you're going to do. And I bring it up because if we go 0-2, let's say we go into Philadelphia and we lose, the cries for Penix and the pressure that's going to be on this Atlanta Falcons front office is going to be tremendous. Lisa, can you give me your perspective on this? What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, for me, it is this situation is very tenuous for Terry Fontenot. Under his administration or regime, we have had Mariota, Ritter, and now Cousins. Those first two experiments, we all know what happened. Those people are no longer with our team.
Did you say butt fumble too? I'm sorry, Mariota. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
So now, you know, you signed him to this contract knowing he was coming off a major injury. It's really their decision making is going to be questioned, right? And my thing is, if you put him on the field, he should be able to perform. They see him, you know, every day or mostly every day, right? So if they see that he's not really, and I won't even say 100%, but if he is not playing effectively enough to help us secure a win, then why are we playing him? I mean, aren't you doing more harm than good? And my thing is, we know we're going to hear it, but you pay. I mean, some people are like, well, you have to play him because of what you paid him. But listen, I'm not really in that camp. I'm like, you need to play whoever is in the best position to help your team win. And if that's not Kirk Cousins, then it's not Kirk Cousins. So, I mean, we have to believe what our eyes showed us, right? I mean, our eyes can see what is put on film. So they need to be making the best decision for the team, not trying to make the best decision to help them save face. Because are you really saving it if you drop nails? So yeah. I would rather you sit, you know, if he has to be the highest paid backup in the history of the NFL, so be it. But if Penix happens to come in and we start winning, and I hate that too, because that wasn't the plan. The plan was for him to sit behind Kirk, learn from a veteran. But I mean, if Kirk is not physically able to perform up to par to where he can lead our team and we start winning, then you're going to have to do what you. So I'm saying, like, this is some Monday night game is very important. Number one, Kirk has to look better. He has to look like he's able to move and throw. And because really, I mean, we had maybe a couple of explosive plays, but not a lot. So it's very important. I just, because you said going down 0-2, then you got the Kansas City Chiefs coming into Atlanta. Then we got our arch rival, the Aints. You know what I mean? Like, we gotta get some W's somewhere. Now, I know people are kind of calling the first, 4 games a gauntlet, but I don't want us to go 0-4. I mean, that's a deep hole.
That is a deep hole.
2-2, 3-1, great, but my goodness, 0-2, and then you got the Kansas City Chiefs, and I actually kind of was of the belief that the Kansas City Chiefs start off slow and then they get hotter later in the season, but they played very well week 1.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What do you think?
Well, so a couple of reasons. One, and I can see it from both sides, right? So yes, you do want to win, but if you bring Penix in, who's got his blind side?
Well, McGarry's hurt, right? I heard something about his groin, so I don't even know if he's going to play Monday.
Okay. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm not going to do that. But you bring in, let's say you're starting the season and you're the Falcons and you see Kirk's got a little issue with his ankle, but you got McGarry over there against TJ Watt, right? I'm not putting Penix in there because there's it's one thing if you can see it coming. It's another thing if you can't, right?
Yeah.
And look, I do not play the game. So let me preface this by saying I'm not an athlete. I don't go out there and put my body on the line.
Mhm.
I've seen Caleb McGarry. That's a big dude. Much respect. But when it comes to pass protection, there just seems to be a little something lacking. And I don't know that you want him protecting your number one first round draft pick. I don't know that you want him protecting the blind side, right? So number one,
I mean, so basically, there's no win here, is what I'm hearing.
it's well, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say it's interesting that McGarry's hurt this week. I tell you what else is interesting, that we signed a guard this week as well. Did you see that?
No,
Now,
who do we sign?
I don't know, some dude from the Raiders. That is so bad, but it is what it is. We signed a guys in the chat. If you can look it up, I greatly appreciate that. But we signed a tackle from the Raiders. Okay, well, he played for the Raiders. I think his PFF was like 57, which is 3 under 60. So I mean, I think 60 is average. But I think it's
He's less than average.
You said what?
He's less than average.
That's 3 points. I mean, they're guys with 40s and 30s, right? What I wonder is, can he pass block? Because McGarry, from a run perspective, is a mauler, okay? But he's got slow feet, in my humble opinion. Bottom line is, you're in a situation where if you sit Kirk, you got McGarry protecting his blind side. I'd almost go with Kirk too. Now, maybe the answer is maybe you trade McGarry or maybe you switch him out. I don't know, but it's definitely a dilemma.
It is.
And it's not something that I would want to have to answer. So I say that to say that, this issue is not as simplistic as we would like to make it.
I think we are, though.
Right. Well, and the other thing is there is a difference catching from a left-handed quarterback than it is a right. If you've practiced, and again, it sounds small. I've played football. It's different, right? The rotation is different, right? The way it spins in the air, the way it's going to come at you from a left-hander is different from the way it's going to come at you from the right-hander. If he's got to come in, he's got to come in. I'm not saying to not do that. I'm saying it's not simple. With that being said, guys, let's look at Zach Robinson's play calling last week. Now, in the first half, hey, the run game was working. It was pretty good. Thank you, Chris, A1 Forever. And by the way, Chris does all my video work. Chris, I absolutely love you, dude. You're awesome. And if Chris isn't doing your video work, he needs to be doing your video work, okay? Today. Those of you content creators out there, you need a video done? Call your boy Chris, A1 Forever. I call him A1 from day one because he's been down with me from day one. But anyway, thank you, Chris. So we signed Brandon Parker, okay? And again, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm not going to say my opinion. I'm just saying it's kind of convenient, right? It's kind of convenient that a week after you have a questionable performance, we sign another tackle, and you just so happen to have. I'm just saying it's a little convenient.
But I mean, McGarry's been with them for 5 years.
Right.
I mean, they know what it is with him. So
they do, but you've got him signed to a contract, right? They didn't.
I mean, they let him walk, but then they signed him. They did not remember. They did not extend the 5th year. They let him test the market. So that's on them. That's on Falco for bringing him back. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. There are many layers to
the
state that the team is in now. And Cousins, I mean, this could potentially make or break his GM position with the Falcons. Because if this goes left, because the expectations were high. People had us as being Super Bowl contenders, right?
Right.
Some people did. But not on what we saw on Sunday. So let's all hope that was just a one-off and we got 16 other games to get it together and make this a respectable season. But because the question is, and why did you go after Kirk and give him that money?
So this almost sounds like another segment to our show. It's point counterpoint. It's me versus you. And you know what? Let's get into it, man. Let's throw the gauntlet down. So it sounds like you're saying, right, if I'm correct, and again, guys, we're not arguing. This is just for fun. It sounds like you're on the Penix train. No?
No, I don't know what train I'm on because I didn't see anything in preseason.
Yeah.
I only saw what I saw on Sunday. I'm
Okay.
on the Falcons train, and I want that train to win. So, however we do it matters not to me.
Well, let me ask you this question. If we go 0-2 and Kirk does not look great, and we got Kansas City coming in for week 3, are you of the opinion that at that point, let's go to Penix?
Not really. I mean, because you got to be more specific. When you say Cousins doesn't look great, does he not look great physically, or is it just his decision making? Like, I would need to know.
Okay.
What about what again? Okay, you take an L, but why do we take it? I mean, Kirk threw some interceptions that better decision making, he would have made those choices. So right. I would need to know, is it because he's not physically well? That's something completely different than him out there just throwing INTs and just costing us games. So I'm not prepared. Like, I don't have a Penix jersey. So again, I'm repping the Atlanta Falcons. So whomever gives our team the best opportunity to win, that's who I'm rolling with. Like, I'm not one of these. I just want us to win. We've been losing for 6 whole seasons, right? So that's kind of the fan I am. I'm not into better be Penix or no. Because then my fear would be, if something would happen to him. Like, no. Like, I would prefer Cousins to work out. He is the veteran. I would prefer that, Penix truly has an opportunity to learn from a 13-year veteran. Mm-hmm. Ideally, that's where I'm at with it. But we just got to see how Kirk looks physically on Monday and then his decision making. So, and I'm going to throw in Zach Robinson's play calling because I was like, third.
That was the other thing. Now, going back to the turnovers, one of them, I don't think that was Kirk's fault because, well, again, I didn't hear. We were in the stadium.
Yeah,
I didn't hear the cadence, so I don't know if the center snapped it before Kirk called for it. All I know is he snapped it right as the tight end is crossing the threshold, and it hit the tight end in the leg. It didn't hit Kirk, so I don't know if that's Kirk's fault or not. Right? That's one. 2, on the second interception, and it's hard to see this real time, but when I went back and I looked at the replay, you see the off the guard being backed into Kirk, and as Kirk throws, his arm is kind of impeded by the guard. And the other thing I saw was the receiver was running up the sideline. Now, yes, he threw in the triple coverage, but he's trying to throw it over and to the outside shoulder of the receiver, where only he can get it. And to be honest with you, if he catches that ball, there's a good chance he scores. So I can't necessarily fault his decision-making on the second interception. Now, the first one, I don't know what Kirk was doing, okay? I've watched that thing 3 or 4 times. I have no idea. But with that being said, Lisa, I'm with you. This is not a simple answer, and we just got to stay tuned. So hopefully we won't talk about this. Hopefully we'll get a victory, but, we could go 0-2. With that being said, Zach Robinson's play calling, I felt like we really didn't adjust in the second half. I felt like we kind of did the same things. Cedric, is that what you saw? When you look at the game that we called in the second half, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. I agree. After the first half, it was 10-9. We were in the game. The defense was playing well. The offense was okay. But like it's written on your board, and like you're saying, I did not see any adjustment in the second half.
Yeah.
And the Steelers started taking over the game, and it continued until the end.
Yeah. And to Lisa's point, you had Bijan running, and even though he was getting 3.6 yards or whatever a carry, he was still scooting and booting and getting in and out of holes. That's a perfect time to run a play action. So even out of the pistol, why not do that? And you know what? We could have done it. There's a lot going on at that game. All right. There was flags waving. There were towels. There's a lot going on. I'm also consuming a few adult beverages, I must admit, more than a few. So, fourth quarter is a little fuzzy. I'm not going to say that, but I don't recall there being that much play action. So I would agree. I think Zach Robinson, you have to be able to adjust,
Yep.
and you better be able to adjust quickly because this Philadelphia team is something. Lisa, what do you think about the Zach Robinson's play calling in the first half? Oh, excuse me, in the second half of the first game. What are your thoughts on that?
In the second half of the first game, well,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we've already kind of said it wasn't creative. I
Mhm.
kind of felt like, like you said, there weren't adjustments being made.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of felt like at a point, he was force feeding Bijan. You do have other offensive weapons,
Mhm. Yeah.
and I think it's a travesty to not use them. They're game planning for Bijan. Like, duh, like who wouldn't? But
Right.
because and I even felt like Kyle Pitts was invisible after that in first TD he had. Like it just didn't seem. I felt like there wasn't an offensive flow, especially in the second half, and it just kind of it was stagnant, and nothing was going on there. So
Yeah, I just and again, if it's a situation where Kirk is hurt and there's certain things you can
yeah,
do, I mean, we don't know. So
yeah, we don't know, but
we will find out. Now, another thing that was really really blown up was the fact that we did not play any of our starters in the preseason, and they looked rusty. They did.
Rusty. Yep.
Can't I can't debate that. They were rusty. You could see guys. I think Bijan ran the wrong way one time. I saw Kirk have to get Kyle. No, 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 no. Go over here. Go over here. So there did appear to be some rust. What are your thoughts on if we should have played them in the preseason or not? And again, Cedric, you're our guest. What do you think about that? Do you think we should have played them in the preseason, or do you think we were right to just hold them out and protect them against injury? What are your thoughts?
I know the NFL is a short season, right? And you don't want your star players to be injured before the season starts.
Right.
But we saw it in the first game, and like you just said, lots of players seem to be rusty a bit. So I don't mean let them play all the preseason games, but at least see a little bit of action to see if they are up to speed with the other teams, the other players, and if
Yes.
not, for them to make adjustment during the remaining of the training camp.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Like football is probably one of the most physical
It is.
sports in America, North America. But hockey is also physical, and all the star players play during the preseason. You need to
Yeah.
get up to speed for the beginning of the season.
It's brutal. It
Yeah.
is brutal. Lisa, what are your thoughts on that?
I hate to ride the fence, but I mean, I do see both sides. But
Mhm.
my thing is, even though it was one offensive series last year, I mean, Ritter saw some snaps in preseason last year. And then granted, he needed them, but I
Oh,
just think
shots fired. Oh,
I feel like because you know what the narrative will be, then why would Atlanta play, their star players and somebody unfortunately gets injured in a
right.
meaningless.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I do see both sides, but at the same time, Kansas City, they were playing their starters. Pittsburgh was playing their starter, you know what I mean? And they've been doing that throughout. So,
I guess
I
it's
feel like it's no right or wrong
right.
because
Yeah.
there are teams that do it, and that doesn't guarantee that you're going to, be successful. And then there are teams that don't play their starters, and doesn't mean that they're not going to be successful. So I don't know, but of course, you want to examine every single thing when you have a start like we did in game one. So.
Of course, and that's a great way to put it. I remember Michael Vick got hurt one year in the preseason, and it killed the season. It
Mhm.
it was tumbleweeds up in that dome that year. Like we had no shot. You know what I mean? Mike Vick was the franchise. I think he got his leg broke by Ray Lewis, and I hated Ray that entire year. Now I love Ray, but I hated Ray that year. I was mad. You know what I mean? So Lisa, I like you can agree. it's kind of like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
go out there, you're rusty the first game, but God forbid, you have a star player out there and he gets hurt in a meaningless game. The media's going to kill you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A meaningless
Yeah.
game.
But at the same time, Kansas City starting their starters, and they just won a Super Bowl.
Right. 2 Super Bowls. So you can do that.
Oh yeah, back-to-back champs. So
Right.
what we doing out here in Atlanta?
Right.
Resting everybody. So.
Yeah. Well, we haven't won 2. We're trying to win a Super Bowl. We haven't won 2.
But no, my point is, if Kansas City can play their starters and they are the reigning Super Bowl champs, then the question is, why isn't Atlanta at least one offensive series? I don't know. Because again, I say that, and then if somebody gets hurt, be like, "Oh my God, we lost so and so in a preseason game." And
correct, yeah. My answer to that would be they've been to the mountain and conquered it. So let's say one of them does get hurt this year. Well, they just won it last year. It's okay. We're trying to get there.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to get there, and we're trying to do everything to make sure that happens. This next topic is not listed, but I did want to bring it up. Those of you who watched the Miami Dolphins play the Buffalo Bills, or should I say the Buffalo Bills spank the Miami Dolphins last night, you saw Tua go down with a bad concussion. I think this is his 4th one. And my thoughts are, why is it not mandatory that we teach these quarterbacks how to slide? And I because you can clearly see Tua's got the first down. And when he goes down, he leads with his head. Now, I'm 54 years old, and I was taught to lead with my head. I mean, look, I'm from a time where you might have 10 concussions. 5 of them you're probably not going to talk about. They just called it being a little fuzzy. You know what they say? He got his bell rung back in my day. Okay, you got the smelling salts, and that was it. But they're a little more focused now. And with a lot of the, when quarterbacks get hurt, that's a critical position. A lot of teams, their season is over. Mm-hmm. So with the weight of that on that position, why not make it mandatory to teach them how to slide? And Lisa, I'll open it up to you. What do you think?
I mean, I'm sure he was taught how to slide. He just didn't in that moment. I mean, he's had multiple concussions, so I don't think teaching them to slide is the issue.
I do. Because there's some guys, if you don't have a baseball background, that's not a normal, a natural movement on a football field. And I just feel like with the money that you're paying him, he should have spent this entire summer learning how to slide. But, that's me. And maybe they did. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't there. I just feel like for all quarterbacks, one of the ways that we can maybe prevent some of these concussions is, look, teach them how to slide. You know what I mean? And maybe you build it in the contract. Hey, if you don't slide, or I don't know, whatever. I feel
like though, because did you watch the Miami Hard Knocks?
I didn't. No, I didn't.
I feel like they. I mean, he's gotten concussions, so I feel like that he was doing like different type of body work and other things to protect himself. So I don't think that he's just out there willy-nilly. I just think it was just a live action play, and he did not protect himself in that moment, unfortunately. So, yeah.
I'll tell you who he reminds me of. A former Falcon that I really loved by the name of Mr. Devontae Freeman. Devontae was great in 2015 and 2016. 2017, he decided he was going to play big boy bully ball, and I think it ruined his career because he kept getting concussion after concussion, and he was never the same. And, I just, it's sad because you're probably looking at a lost year, right? Like this is his 4th concussion, and they knew right away, which means this is serious.
It was scary. I felt horrible.
This is, you know what I mean? I don't know if you guys know who Jim McMahon is. He was a quarterback of the Bears in '85, but he can barely speak now. Like, wow. These guys have to get older. You got to think about this. And, to a young man, I've been young. You don't think about getting old because you think you're invincible. But guess what? If you live long enough, you're going to get old. And if you can't pick up a can of soup, you don't want to be a burden on your family. So you know, it might be over for Tua. I'm going to be honest with you because I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Chris A1, we were talking about this earlier. If he retires now, he gets to keep that money. If he passes his physical next year, they can cut him. So I don't know. Just my thoughts. We can move on, guys, to the next topic, and that is overreactions. So I think we covered this on the One Time for the Fan show, but this is our show, so we can cover it again if we want to. We have the right to do that, right, Lisa? We can cover what we want to cover. So, Lisa, what do you say to those Falcon fans out there who, after witnessing the first game, decided to say, you know what? Let's bring back Cam Newton. Lisa, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't know those people. Nobody in my Falcon circle saying it is. I'm not even entertaining foolishness.
Oh, that was not what I expected. That's good. That's good. I didn't see that one coming, Lisa. All right. Wow. Okay. Same thing. Bring back Ritter. Yes, I promise you, I saw this on Twitter. Bring back Ritter. What are your thoughts? Same thing?
But why? The question is why?
Exactly.
Why?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can't just be posting anything. I'm okay with conversation or debate that's rational, but I just can't. I can't entertain things that are not rational.
Cedric, bring back Ritter. What are your thoughts?
We have Penix waiting. Why?
Right.
You know, and the game was not, the first game was not what we expected. It was close to brutal for the second half, but I saw a lot of comments on social medias which like, it's one game, it's one game. Let's not panic.
Right.
You know, the season, there's still lots of game to be win. So
16, yeah. So it's a long season.
Yeah, let's focus on the next one against the
season off for 1 week. It's just not gonna happen.
Exactly. So Cam Newton, Desmond Ritter. I'm sorry, we have Michael Penix.
Yeah.
Cedric, I love the fact that you're so positive because Lisa's. I'm not even going to discuss. I don't know these people who made this statement. Like that. That's funny to me. All right, guys. Overreaction number 3. The season is over. Oh my God, the season is over. Our season is over. I think when you're upset, you typically make bad decisions. Like I saw somewhere, when you're really upset, you probably should not respond in writing or otherwise. Yeah. And I think this is one of those, you know what? It's just an emotional reaction. So I'm not gonna ask you guys to even dignify that. The juicy one, however, the one I wanted to talk about was this, because I keep hearing this and it irritates the living you know what out of me. I keep hearing this. We gave this guy $100 million. And that's true. We did. But ladies and gentlemen, this is 2024. Okay? Let's not look at the $100 million. Let's look at the annual size of Kirk Cousins' contract. And for this segment of the show, I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Give me 1 second. Because I'm going to put this so everybody can see it. So hopefully we can put this comment to bed, although I know it's going to come up because people love to talk about it. But I just think it is a very silly sentiment when you look at what everyone else is getting paid. So give me 1 second. I should have had this ready. I do apologize. So let me just remove this part of it and we can get into it. Present, share screen, and oh boy, that's weird. Okay. All right, here we go. So here we go. Kyler Murray. I'm sorry. Wait. I got to do this differently. I got to do it by annual value. Well, even if you look at this, right? Kirk Cousins is number 12 on this list. One, two, three, four. At least number 12 on this list. Okay. If we're going by annual value, and let me just do this again. By annual value. I don't know if I spelled that right. Yeah. All right. So, annual value, we've got, and this was obviously done before Dak. Dak is at 60 million. Joe's at 55. Jared's at 53. There's some other guys between them. But the bottom line is Kirk is at 45 million a year. He's not even in the top 5. Okay. So the point I'm trying to make is that in 2024, if you want a decent quarterback, you're going to pay at least $35 to $40 million.
Mm-hmm.
Dak has 60 a year. I wish I was a quarterback now. Shit. I'm just saying. 60 million. We're paying Kirk 45 million. Some would argue maybe we're getting him at a discount. Okay, let's say he turns this thing around and throws for 4,800 yards and wins the NFL MVP. 45 million is a steal. You got to look at what you're paying per year, right? To make it relatable, I can't walk onto a lot and buy a new car for 15,000 because if I do, you probably aren't going to want it, right? If I want it doesn't have to be a luxury vehicle. Let's say a sedan. Unless you're paying about $40,000 for a new car in 2024, 35 to 40, forget about it. This is 2024. Now, if we go back to 1989, I could have got a good car for 10,000. I did. It was a 1989. No, it wasn't. It was an 85 Accord. It was beautiful. I loved it. And you know what? I could fill up my tank of gas with $10. And still have 10 to go out on a date and take a girl to the movies and have a great time. But that was 1989, people. This is 2024. Okay? So let's put this to bed. If you're going to have a decent quarterback, you're going to have to pay 35 to 40 million. Now, let's look at his deal. His deal's for 4 years. It's front loaded, which means this year we pay him 45 million. Next year we pay him 45 million. Third year we pay him 10. It's a bargain. We're paying him $100 million. Guys that are going to make 240, 250. Okay, the updated list, Kirk Cousins is not even in the top 10. Now, was his performance good? No. Was it $45 million worthy? No. But give the guy a break. He didn't play in the preseason. He's coming off of an Achilles. Let's tone down the rhetoric. That's all I'm saying. Okay, and with that, my rant is over. I think I did pretty good because last night I got pretty upset. Lisa, what are your thoughts on this? Let's talk through it. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about we gave this guy $100 million? How do you feel about that?
I mean, to the average person, sure, that's crazy money. But I mean, Arthur Blank is a billionaire. So, I mean, if he's not worried about it, I'm certainly not. You know what I mean? So I'm not really, it is what it is. You can't take it back. The contract is signed. And so I just choose not to really get too worked up about things that are already in place and set in stone. And again, what is going to boil down to is Kirk's performance. How is he looking? Is he helping his team win? And if Kirk is not helping us win and he's looking like, something's going on, physically or injury wise, then adjustments will have to be made anyway, irrespective of the contract that he signed. And again, Fontenot will have to address that. because then the question will be, what were the medicals looking like? What did you guys see to make you think that he would be ready to go once the regular season started? So, those are questions Fontenot's going to have to ask if this thing goes left.
Yeah, and to be fair, guys, an ACL is one thing. I know very few people that came back from an Achilles injury in 7 months.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
Even Ronald Acuna, who played for the Braves when he came back from his ACL, that first year he wasn't fully himself because a part of it is mental. A part of it is, all right, can I really do this? Can I really trust it? And you just have to work yourself through that process. I'm not saying that's what's going on here. Okay. I don't know Kirk's medical stake and I don't want to speculate. I don't want to start rumors. But I've seen folks get Achilles. It's a brutal injury, and most folk, it takes a year. So take that for what it's worth. If Kirk stays with us for 4, if we win a Super Bowl within that time frame, I don't think anybody's going to care. You know what I mean? So there's the short view and there's the long view, right? We cannot get all upset and get our undergarments in a bunch about one game. At least I hope we don't. So anyway, that's it for that topic. We can transition and let us see where we are. I need to get back to our little thing here.
Well, Cedric, real quick, can you hang out? Because I know we've kept you over the time. So, yeah, there's his signed jersey.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, so let me ask you this question. I know that meeting Bijan was a great, momentous occasion for you. Other than meeting Bijan, what is your favorite Falcon moment that you can speak to?
I think that the best moment we had over a weekend in Atlanta was entering the stadium with the marching band and the Dirty Bird's Nest.
Okay.
Was, like I said earlier, amazing. The emotions, the feelings. Oh, something that was nice also is when the Falcons players entered the field and then seeing 70,000, 75,000 fans screaming. That was pretty intense.
Yeah.
The Dirty Bird's Nest section was going nuts. That I can say. I was there.
And I have to, admit, I think the Falcons are the only NFL team that has, a dedicated fan section. Wow. And I don't think that any other team, I mean, they may have a drum line or something, but I don't think they do it as big as we do, if they do it at all. So I think that is something unique to the Falcons and the Bends. And as you can see, you saw it, people just kind of part ways when they see us coming through, and even the opposing fans, they're kind of like, what's happening here? The chanting, it's a whole thing, it's a whole production. But yeah, it definitely makes for a fun entrance and a fun way to kick off the game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Definitely. Well, guys, we are at the point in the show where we've covered all our material, and at that point now it is time for shout outs. So, being as you are our guest, Cedric, do you have any shout outs or people that you'd wish to acknowledge before we release and leave the show?
Yes, definitely. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Lisa, obviously, thank you, Lisa. There's Vinny, the Falconator, and his wonderful wife, Susanna, Ardelia Austin, Chelsea Phillips Tafoya, and Michael Mekonota, I believe. He's the one who was able to, bring me to Bijan. So the Falcons family, rise up, Falcons Nation. We'll be back next year. So I'll see you, Lisa, next year in Atlanta.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. And it was great meeting you as well. And I'm just glad that you had a good time in my city. So.
Oh yes.
Agreed. Lisa, do you have any shout outs?
Well, of course, shouting out our special guest Cedric and shouting out you. We made it through our
Yes.
first episode, which happened to be on Friday the 13th. Y'all, when I
Oh,
realized it was Friday, I was like, oh, do we want to do the first? I mean, I was like, mm-mm.
He did.
Friday, the
Really
movie Friday the 13th messed me up. I'm like, oh
did.
no, I'm not messing with the Friday the 13th. But we decided to do it because we, game one had
Ain't
passed. We're
afraid.
looking forward to week two, talking about our matchup with the Eagles. So I'm happy to have had you on. I'm glad you were able to make time for Cedric. Please give Josie my regards as well.
Yes. Yes.
yes. Thank you very much for the time and for inviting me. It was really nice. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And your fandom rocks. I mean, you are a Falcons fan.
Oh,
Point
yes.
and
My
period.
living room is all about Falcons here.
Love
Yep,
it.
I loved
I
it.
love it. I love it, and I'm here for it. And let me start my shout outs. Number one, thank you to the fans in this chat. Thank you all for joining. Um, Secondly, thank you to Lisa, who I think we've been talking about this show for what, a month, Lisa, and we've been putting it together, going back and forth. And she's right. The first thing she said was, "Oh, it's Friday the 13th. Do we really want to do it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it, Lisa." And it finally came to fruition. So kudos to you, Lisa. Cedric, thank you so much for joining us. First and foremost, thank you for being a fan. Thank you for traveling to our country and our city and just partaking in the culture, partaking in the fandom, partaking in the game, and hopefully this year or next, partaking in a Super Bowl victory. So
Oh, that would be nice.
oh, that would be great. Let me thank the fans in the chat. I really appreciate you guys. Again, this is A1. Excuse me. I'm sorry. This is for my ATL Sports 1 at YouTube. Please like, share, and subscribe. Again, for my ATL 1 Sports at YouTube. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I just want to thank all the fans who came in. So, Carlo, I want to thank you. A1 Forever, I want to thank you. Mario Anderson, I want to thank you. Larry A. Sams, I want to thank you. Tiff Rains, I want to thank you. Mateo, I want to thank you. Lyrics Mom, I want to thank you. And Chris A1 Forever, I want to thank you. Thank you all for coming in this chat. I so appreciate you. Thank you to Mr. Jack Spade, who gave me a start in this business and continues to be a friend, mentor, and confidant. Thank you to my brother, Eric Parker, who was with Jack Spade when I started in this business. So thank you. Last but not least, thank you to God. Would not be here without him. And with that being said, everyone, thank you for joining us on this Falcon Friday. You guys have a great win. Hopefully, the next time we see you, we will be talking about a Falcons victory on Tuesday. Oh, latecomer, we got Miss Diane Day Markham. Thank you, Diane. Appreciate that. And we would invite you to please come back. Again, like, share, and subscribe for my ATL Sports 1. That is the number 4, my ATL Sports 1 on YouTube. And with that, we are going to close the show. Rise up.
Rise up, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Bye,